Hello students and namaste everyone. I am Dhaval sir and our today's topic is your social science chapter number 4, how the traders became rulers. In our previous chapter, that is chapter number 1, we had seen that how the European countries were eager to trade with the India, as the demand for Indian commodities was very much in demand in the European nations. So one by one how the European nations came to India and how they had a cutthroat competition with each other, and how did they fight with each other to increase their trade in India. Okay, so as we know that those Europeans who had come to India, they had come just for the sake of trading only, but later on, as they started they wanted to increase their power, they started capturing or taking control of the territories of India, and that is how slowly and gradually they started becoming the rulers of India. Okay, so now we'll start with our chapter. So in the first paragraph, the story is given that there were two children, right? So the children were engrossed in reading the story of two cats and monkeys. So this is a very famous story which we all might have heard in our lower standards, that there were two cats who were about to have roti, right? That is the chapati. So a monkey comes and makes them both fight. So we know this story very well. So ultimately the moral of the story is that when there is a quarrel or a fight between the two people, the third person gets benefited from that, right? So that is what the moral of this story is, and this is what exactly the Britishers had done, right? And this is also a kind of policy. The name of the policy is divide and rule. So the Britishers also did the same thing to increase their stake or to increase their territory in India. What the Britishers did, they made the Indian kings fight with each other, and slowly and gradually they themselves started taking control of, or they started acquiring the territories of India. And this is how the people or the traders who had come to India for trading became the rulers of India. So to know the whole story, let us begin with the chapter. We'll come directly to the second paragraph. By the mid of 18th century, the British had started to emerge as a strong power on the Indian political horizon. So as we all know that many Europeans like the French, the Dutch, the Britishers, the Portuguese, they had come to India, and when they came to India, they had a cutthroat competition, right? Because the more and more trade they wanted to carry out with India, they wanted larger and the larger share. So due to that, there was a tough competition between the European countries, and they continuously kept on fighting with each other, right? So as we have seen in the earlier chapter, that the Britishers came out of the situation very well, and they defeated many European countries, and they had established their power in India. So what is given, by the mid of 18th century, the British had started to emerge as a strong power on the Indian political horizon. Do you know that the British came to India only for trade? So that we have already seen in the first chapter, that they had actually come to India for the trade purpose only, but later on they started acquiring or capturing the Indian territories. Initially they took permission, initially means in the beginning, they took permission to trade in Indian states. Then how did they become the rulers of entire India? We know that the Britishers, they had captured almost whole India, and they had ruled in India for almost 200 years, right? So which is a very long period of time. The history of the British rule arouses many such questions. Arouses means it brings to our mind many such questions. To serve their economic interest, they increased their political hold on India. So to earn more and more money, what they thought, that we are doing trade over here, and what we have to do is we are paying the taxes to the kings, and a lot of amount is paid on tax by us to the Indian rulers. Then they thought that why not we take control of those kingdoms, and if they get the control of those kingdoms, then they would not have to pay the tax. So that thing came in their mind, and this is how they started taking control of the Indian territories. So to serve their economic interest, they increased their political hold on India with the use of British diplomatic tactics. So here diplomatic tactic means what, right? So diplomatic means diplomatic tactics means the methods like negotiations means bargaining, right? And such kind of things were done by the Britishers, and ultimately they influenced the Indian rulers, right? So that is diplomatic tactics. Next we'll see there is Wellesley's policy of expansion. When Wellesley came to India as the Governor General, cutthroat competition means very violent competition was going on, right? That means a competition in which if one person is weak, then he will lose everything. So cutthroat competition existed between England and France. It was necessary to check France from becoming powerful. To check means to restrain or to stop, right? So it was necessary for the Britishers to stop France from becoming powerful in India, so as to expand the British rule in India. Wellesley introduced a new plan which was known as the Subsidiary Alliance. So as the Wellesley came to India as a Governor General, he was given the target, or he was given the work to expand the British rule and to make British rule more powerful in India. So what did he do? He introduced a kind of a plan, right, which was known as Subsidiary Alliance. As per the scheme, so the scheme here means the Subsidiary Alliance, any princely states that accepted the alliance means the group, right, the Britishers. So any princely state that accepted the alliance had to keep and maintain the British army, as well as keep a British representative in the royal court. So as we all know that there were many small princely states, right? Almost 562 princely states were there, and these princely states kept on fighting with each other. So what did the Britishers do? They took the advantage of this, and they made friendship with some of the rulers, and they told them, because the Britishers had the modern weapons like guns, gunpowder, bombs and everything. So what they told, that we will help you out, right? And the only thing you need to do is keep the British representatives in the royal court. So the British army was to be maintained by the king, and a British representative was to be kept in the royal court. That means whatever decisions are to be taken in that, the British representative will be involved, and he will look after each and everything. So this way the British could maintain their army without spending any money, because the responsibility of the army was given on the ruler who joined the Subsidiary Alliance. However, the princely states were not allowed to utilize the army at their own. Now the major problem, even though the king accepted the alliance, he could not use the army on his own. So before using the army, before fighting a war, they had to take the permission of the Britishers, right? So that was the thing, and because of that, the kings were dependent on the Britishers. This system, which made many feel secure in the beginning. So in the beginning, those kings who had accepted the Subsidiary Alliance, they were very happy that we are now equipped with modern army, modern weapons and everything, so we don't need to worry, right? We are very safe. Later on, they felt or they felt enslaved and threatened, right? They felt like they are the slaves of the Britishers because they could not take any decisions on their own. All the decisions means in all the decisions the British were involved and their permission had to be taken, and threatened means frightened. So later on the king or the kings who take the help of the British through subsidiary alliance felt like enslaved and threatened, that is frightened. Subsidiary alliance acted like a slow poison, right? Slow poison means in the beginning it was good enough for the kings, but later and later, slowly and gradually, when time passed, it started showing its sign, right? That means it was the Britishers, the kings realized that this is not a good thing what they have accepted. The Indian states that became the victims of subsidiary alliance were Hyderabad, Mysore, Ayodhya, Jodhpur, Gaikwads of Vadodara, Peshwas of Pune, and Scindias of Gwalior. So these are the name of the places, right? The kingdoms which took the help of the Britishers under the subsidiary alliance. Now, victim means what? So victim means a person who is injured or killed, right? In Hindi we say shikar, right? So ultimately victim means a person who is harmed or injured or killed. So Nizam of Hyderabad was the first victim of Wellesley's subsidiary alliance. So why we are using the word victim? Because initially in the beginning that they thought that they were very safe and they were happy, but later on they realized that it was actually a kind of conspiracy or a plan, and they were trapped in that plan, right? So Nizam of Hyderabad was the first to accept the subsidiary alliance. Then it was Mysore and Ayodhya. Tanjore and Karnataka met with the same fate. Fate means nasib, right? So in their fate also it was the same thing, and they also became the victim of the subsidiary alliance system of the Britishers. The British made the Marathas fight amongst themselves and consequently made them accept the subsidiary alliance. So as in the beginning of the chapter only we saw that these Britishers accepted the policy of divide and rule. So they ultimately did what? That is, they made the Indian soldier or Indian kings fight with each other, and they themselves tried to help them out, and slowly and gradually they took the control of the Indian kingdoms. Okay, they themselves captured the Indian kingdoms. Owing to the losses incurred by Nizam in his fight with Marathas, he was the first to accept this alliance. That means when there was a fight between the Nizam of Hyderabad and the Marathas, the Nizam had a lot of loss of money, property, loss of people and everything. So to take a revenge, right, against the Marathas, they accepted this alliance of the Britishers. Tipu Sultan of Mysore refused to do so. That means Tipu Sultan said, no, I will not accept this subsidiary alliance system. But after the British victory in the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, so there is the war between the Britishers and the Mysore. Mysore was forced to become a subsidiary state. Subsidiary state means the state which would be under the control of the Britishers. Maratha chief fought amongst themselves after the death of Nana Fadnavis. So what is given? That Maratha chief means the main person who is the leader of the army. So Maratha chief fought amongst themselves after the death of Nana Fadnavis. So the Nana Fadnavis, who was the ruler, after his death, the chief, that means who were the head of the army and the kingdom, they fought amongst themselves, right? One by one, all the Maratha states became the victim of divide and rule policy of the British. The other states, namely Ayodhya, Gorakhpur, Tanjore, Karnataka, Farrukhabad, also suffered the same fate. That means they had also to become the victim of the subsidiary alliance system, and they also came under the British rule. In this way, within a span means a time period, within the time period of 7 years, Wellesley expanded the company rule and made the British the supreme power in India. Supreme power means the most powerful, right? The Britishers had become most powerful in India. That means many of the states were under the control of the Britishers now. Okay. So, as you can see, there is a picture given in which a battle is fought by Wellesley. Okay. The next is the expansion of the British rule in India. Right. So, how further the Britishers expanded their rule in India. After finalizing the subsidiary alliance treaties means agreement, right? Whenever we do any new work or whenever we enter into a contract or anything, we sign agreements. So agreements are known as treaties. So after finalizing the subsidiary alliance treaties with Mysore, Nizam of Hyderabad and Maratha chieftains. So chieftains means the leader of the army, who is the head of the army. The British moved towards northern part of India. They entered into a treaty of friendship with Nepal, sensing a threat from it. So what these Britishers did, they were very smart, right? After taking over the control of Hyderabad and the southern part of India, they moved towards the northern part. But they knew that in the northern part, the Nepal was very strong, the Gurkhas of Nepal. So they were very strong and they had a threat. Threat means they were frightened from them. That if we'll fight with them, the Britishers knew that they could not withstand the fight with them and they will have to go away from India if they will lose the war. So they did, what did they did? They entered into a treaty. Again, treaty means a kind of agreement with Nepal. Okay. So they fought many battles to secure the frontiers. Frontiers means the line or the border, okay, of a country. So frontiers. So they fought many battles to secure the frontiers, because if they took the control of the border of the India, then they could stop anyone from entering into the country. Friendly relations with the Sikh king Maharaja Ranjit Singh helped them to win the battle with the Afghans, that is the Afghanistan, and establish their rule in Sindh, which is presently in the Pakistan. The British had an ambition to capture the Sikh kingdom, which was a very powerful kingdom, but they could not do so as long as Maharana Ranjit Singh was alive. So the Britishers also wanted the Sikh kingdom, but the king over there, the name of the king was Maharana Ranjit Singh. He was so powerful that the Britishers were in a fear that they could never fight against Maharana Ranjit Singh and they could never win the war against him. So they did not fight against the Sikh king until he was alive. Okay. So they kept friendly relations with Maharana Ranjit Singh, and who was a very strong ruler at that time. He had set up a strong army with the help of European officers for the protection of his state. So as we know that the Britishers came to India, and even there were many other Europeans like the Portuguese, the French, the Dutch people. So this king Maharana Ranjit Singh, he was very strong, and he had also taken the help of the other Europeans, because these European people, they had modern weapons like the guns, bombs and everything. So he had taken the help of the Europeans, and due to which the Britishers were afraid of him. After his death, that means after the death of Maharana Ranjit Singh, Punjab suffered anarchy. Anarchy means it is a kind of a situation, a state of disorder, right? It is a kind of situation where there is a no king in the state, and because of which there is a complete chaos. Chaos means no one is in the position of the king, so who will become the king, who will take the control, right? Because at that time there are many candidates who want to become the king. So what will happen if the main king is not there? then the other who want to become the king, they will keep start fighting with each other, and due to which the situations will become worst. So ultimately anarchy means a state of disorder due to the absence or non-recognition of authority or any kind of government or controlling system. That means due to the absence of the king, there was no controlling system. Whatever thing the people wanted to do, they were free to do. Governor General Sir Henry Hardinge came to India and brought the Sikh rule completely under the British rule with policy of interference and annexation. So we all know interference means what, right? And annexation means what? So annexation means to take away or capture any kingdom or territory without the permission, right? So that is annexation policy. Okay, so we'll end our today's session over here. Okay, and the next part of the chapter will continue in the next lecture. Till then, stay healthy, keep safe, and if you like my video, please subscribe my channel and press on the like button.